place of Dr. Melissa Meidinger, we've got Angie Yahne. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about StartUp Watertown. So that'll be the entrepreneurial's edge today if they're listening. So StartUp Watertown is, it's in the name. You're here to help maybe like small businesses, individuals get started.
Yeah. it could be as simple as someone having an idea and they don't know, where do I need to go next? Or maybe you're past that point and you have your business plan and you've been working with Melissa and now you're ready to move on to that next step. Or you could just be a business that's already located in town and maybe you're having some technical issues. Maybe you're growing so quick that now you need to catch up on your operations piece. Just about any issue you're having, we're happy to help. So, and we're helping people now.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering if you, people are already reaching out. I don't know if did you apply for things or how's that kind of work?
Yeah. So right now it's just kind of reaching out. And, I work with the development company still. So my email's just right on our Facebook and our LinkedIn page for StartUp Watertown. So anyone can reach out at any time. And actually, most of the time I'm having conversations, it's just out in the public. Like if I'm getting my hair done and then I just happen to have a conversation and someone's looking to start a business in the salon realm, or maybe I go grab something to eat at the bakery and someone recognizes my name and they're like, hey, you do this, like, can you help with this? It can be, you can reach out in multiple ways, but we're happy to help and do what we can to help with whatever you would need. So,
and you kind of have like a little committee, if you will, of folks that you put together that you guys have talked about different ways to help and all that kind of thing, to get this group started.
Yep. So right now we have 4 board members. We've got Melissa Meidinger with the Small Business Development Center. We've got Kurt Trago with First Bank and Trust. And then we've got Barb Younger with the monastery and Michael Glatt with the monastery. And we are looking for 3 more board members. We're actually going to be reaching out to a few people that we kind of think would be a good fit for this position, depending on how much time they have, because right now we're kind of in that phase where we have to spend a lot more time on it up front just to get it off the ground. So we are looking for individuals who are passionate about business, passionate about helping people, but also have the capacity to take on a little bit more and help us with some of the pieces, getting everything kind of put together. We have a goal of having kind of a soft launch in October. And what that would entail, having our website, all of our 501c4 documents in, basically being to the point where someone could go book any of our programming things online. We will have different tiered memberships available. And kind of the nice part is if you're a student, it's actually free. So one of our goals is to really get into the schools and kind of assist some of those students and get them thinking about starting businesses. One of the things that we think about all the time here is growing Watertown. We know all over the United States that workforce is an issue. So how do we get people to stay? Some of those students that are looking to move away to bigger and better things, how can we keep them here? How can we get them interested in starting businesses? How we can grow our sales tax base, all of that. So,
yeah, I think the younger generation, of course, is plugged into social media, so they can see the world or the U.S. in an instant almost. So they might have ideas that we've never even thought of or aren't familiar with, and I think that's what's kind of cool and encouraging sometimes is helping, I don't know, like an incubator situation maybe. Is that kind of something that you guys would do a little of here and there?
Yeah. So we actually, our space, we're going to be located out at the monastery. They're just finishing up the remodel on our space. We're going to have a nice boardroom area with beautiful windows all the way around. And then we have a few offices that we can actually, add a few more offices if we would like, if the demand's there. But yeah, if you have a membership, you can come in and use the space whenever you want. What we're trying to create is, the influx of people and the networking. We want it to be a space where people can come and collaborate with ideas. Usually if you're in a situation, someone has been in that situation before in business, and they can kind of just have a conversation and then take it from there. So it's a lot of like self-learning, co-learning, but with the same goal of just people investing in people, and if they succeed, we succeed all together. So
yeah, it's something too. I think when you enter in a situation like this, to have an open mind. You have a great idea, and everybody wants everything now. Sometimes I'm one of those guys sometimes. And it's good to have someone to maybe slow you down or say, well, that's a great idea, but let's try this, or have you thought of this? Or that advice is priceless sometimes. So
and I mean, it even kind of gets down to the root of, maybe you don't know if starting a business is right for you. Maybe you just need to take one of our courses and kind of work through it and see, like, what is the time commitment? What is the reality of the business I'm trying to create? Am I trying to be a business owner? Am I trying to be an employee of my business and constantly work in my business? What are your goals? I could tell you that when I started my business, there were some things that I didn't think through. And if someone had just had a conversation with me and been like, oh, maybe you should hire a couple managers before you start your business, that would have saved me a lot of heartache. I wouldn't have been open to close for 2 months straight and just like on the brink of exhaustion, but I got through it. But yeah, it's just like even a simple conversation like that, just not knowing what to expect when you're opening a new store and kind of the influx of people. Just having some of those just one-off conversations helped. So
yeah, you kind of you get the big picture sometimes, or you can, even searching in AI and stuff can only get you so far. Because I've used some of that for research, and I've gotten very impactful advice, not from AI, but from people here in the community. So that's why this is so important, because they're from here, or they're familiar with it. Maybe they did grow up here, and that's awesome to have right at your fingertips, I guess. So
yeah, there's not a playbook. You could go and read all the books about business you want about starting a restaurant, but there's always going to be these weird one-off situations that you never anticipate, and how do you handle them? And our account was hacked through DoorDash. Someone hacked our account, and we had they actually took a decent chunk of change. And you never know when that stuff is going to happen. And then what do you do in that situation? Luckily we had insurance that covered it, but those are the things that you don't think about. Like, there's scammers out there, but you think it's never going to happen to me until it happens. So
yeah, and you've got whatever card's connected to is set up on a million things, and then you're already running your business, but you got to stop and fix those things and that stuff. So yeah, it's really good to have that information, because that just happened to me not too long ago. Like a week ago.
Yeah.
I got a good $49 out of there, but it was Hong Kong, and I was like, that ain't us. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not me.
Yeah. But then you get new cards, and then you got to go through and, fix your stuff with everybody that you're set up on. And it's just a chore. So not knowing what's available, but you have I know you'll offer different courses and stuff. Some of them have been even computer related, so we have a lot of programming that we're working on. A lot of people are familiar with the Grow Housing Conference we did last year. This year we're switching it up a little bit. It's going to be essentially Grow Watertown Conference. So we're going to have kind of all facets of that. I'm reaching out for speakers right now, and I just had someone
say yes to the AI, and they work for Microsoft. And so I'm really excited, the quality of speakers that we're going to get, and just all focused on how do we grow Watertown. So that's kind of an exciting thing that we're going to be doing this fall, February 11th in town, Ramkota Conference Center. So we're going to be doing that again and try to keep that up annually. We also have Melissa. She's very affluent in teaching courses and business courses. So she's actually going to be doing a workforce upskilling series for us where, say you have this employee who is, they're doing everything right, but maybe they just don't know how to manage other employees or delegate or, something along those lines. So she's going to have courses where she works with these people and then gives them actionable things that they can take home and use immediately in business and life, everything. And just thinking from my standpoint, my restaurant, I would love to give that to my employees because there's no workforce out there. So we have to create the people we want to work for us. And it's almost to the point where it's very hard to hire someone from the outside. You have to pretty much grow your people within, and you have to invest in your people because there's so much competition now for management that, I think I had my job posting out there for 3 months. And I offered the job to 5 different people. And it didn't work out each time. I finally got a good one. But she was a business owner. And I took a chance. I was like, business owner, maybe she has that business owner mindset. She did. We had a 2+ hour interview where we were just going back and forth. And so it worked out. And there are those people out there, but you have to really just start investing in your employees because that's kind of where we're at. So,
yeah, I think a little bit of the old school days, of just kind of taking some of it for granted. You have to kind of work with your employees a little bit and a little bit of give and take sometimes, and little things have changed a little here and there. So it's good to modernize the employer mindset.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Exactly. And your culture too, that's huge. People need a good culture. They want to feel good when they come into work. So how do you create that from a business standpoint? There aren't a ton of books or, people talking about it out there, but it's important, So we're going to have kind of all sorts of workforce related classes. We're talking to different people about doing AI development classes. And then we're going to bring co-starters back. We had a lot of people who really, really had a great experience with that program. And the only requirement of that program is you at least come with an idea, because then we'll work with you on the financial plan, the business plan. And it's a 10-week course, 1 class a week for about 3 hours. And then we actually have a condensed version too called boot camp, which is like a 2-day course. So we can do a little bit of flex here and there. And then we're also talking about doing, since we serve Watertown and the surrounding counties, a lot of virtual things, or even just going out to some of these small counties and doing a course there. So we're really trying to cover not only Watertown, but the surrounding areas as well, because they all come to Watertown for something, So the more people we can get into even our region, the better. But
absolutely, I've heard a couple things, but somewhere between 80 and 100,000 people trade area Watertown has, with all of the communities potentially. So, I mean, that's a lot of shoppers or employees or whatever, a lot of people.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know about you, but I've heard so many times we need a men's clothing store, And so maybe, yes, we can go out and we can try to recruit those TJ Maxx's, those Marshalls, or maybe there's someone here that wants to do that. And maybe we can just help them get to that point where they can get it off the ground, be successful. And then we have what we need. So it's almost instead of just like hemming and hawing about, oh gosh, we don't have this, when are we going to get it? Well, let's just do something about it. Let's find that person that, has the charisma and the mindset to get it done and do it right, and just support each other and make it happen. So
yeah, that's what it's all about, because there you have, it's like you're being guided into what potentially works the best for the community, and then you've got good support right from the beginning. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
We're also working on a CEO collective. For the businesses we have here, we don't want to lose any of them. So one of the things we need to find out from a lot of these businesses, whether it's manufacturers or say the Hy-Vee in town, what is it that you need to be successful in Watertown? We need to have those conversations. I know workforce is glaring. That's usually the number one. But how do we help them get the people they need here? How do we bring people here? What are the things this town is missing that, do we need to add a destination? Do we need to be a destination somehow? And that Aberdeen has Wiley Park. What do we have? We have a beautiful lake. Even the monastery, what they're doing up there, creating a little community within a community. Like, there's so many great things going on. So how do we show that to people to get them here, and then get the businesses the people they need? So
yeah, I've had over the years doing sales to so many people I've met that live in Millbank, Webster, wherever, and they drive to Watertown every day to work. And so that's 80, 90 miles every single day just to come to our community to work. And I'm sure when they get off, they go to the store and grab whatever they need and all that stuff. So that's kind of a big deal.
And if we can bring more things here, give them even more reasons to spend some money, that every penny helps the city and the businesses. So
yeah, maybe they'll just move here after a bit.
Yeah, well, that's what we hope. So we're going to be doing that. And then we also are going to be doing a lot of EOS related things. Our group is fairly passionate about EOS. Do you know what that is? It's Entrepreneurial Operating System. It's actually a franchise, but the whole purpose, I think, defined down to one word, is accountability. There's a few books on it. One is called Traction, but essentially, everyone is aware of your mission and vision, which it doesn't sound like that's a big deal if my employees don't know that. But if they don't know that, how are you all swimming in the same direction? How are you all working towards the same goal if they don't even know what your goals are? So part of that is defining your mission and vision. And then you come up with a 6-year plan, a 3-year plan, 1-year plan, and then it's boiled down to quarterly rocks, or these are the things that we want to have accomplished by the end of this quarter. So your goals. And then every quarter you follow up and you want to hit at least like 80% of them. And if you don't, you pivot a little bit, and you're going to have some to-dos in there, some smaller things like create an email. Okay, yeah, I don't need to make a quarterly rock out of that because I can get that done in 2 days or, but the quarterly rocks, those are like the bigger pieces of, okay, maybe I'm going to start implementing a catering system and I want to have it off the ground by the end of the quarter. And so what do I need to do that, and kind of create a timeline backwards, and then every quarter you come up with new ones, and essentially it's just everyone working in the same direction. And then there are other pieces like weekly meetings and things, which can be adjusted for some of the smaller businesses, or like say nonprofits. Nonprofits only meet monthly, bi-monthly, somewhere in there. So a weekly meeting isn't necessarily practical, but we can kind of tweak those things. But this is something, it seems so obvious. It does.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about it until I was reading through these books, and I'm like, wow, that really makes sense. And there's just so many facets of it, just the accountability piece, because usually and I shouldn't say everyone, but it's pretty hard as a business owner sometimes when you have multiple employees to hold every single employee accountable for every single thing. If you are HR, if you do not have a separate HR department to deal with that, you are the HR.
Yeah.
So just kind of creating a system where everyone is working on the same goals and then everyone's on the same page. That's one of the things that we're going to be pushing, even with new businesses getting started up, because at least you need to get familiar with it and understand kind of the nuances of it and how it works and the accountability piece, because it'll hold you accountable too. Because you can set your own quarterly rocks while you're starting your business. Okay, I need to have business plan done by the end of this quarter. Okay, well, did I get that done? How far off am I? And you have to hold yourself accountable. So that's kind of one of the pieces that we're going to be working into all of our programming as well, because we're all pretty passionate about it. And we've seen the success that some employers have had. My husband's actually doing EOS, and they've been doing it. Well, they started it and then they kind of stopped it, and then they started it again, and they've probably been doing it for about 3 years now. And it's helped them immensely because they just grew so quick that their processes needed to play catch up. And that's part of it too, is making sure that you have all your processes documented. It's very clear to employees, like how they need to save files or how they need to respond to emails. It just kind of lays it all out for you. So again, that's going to be kind of a tipping point for us and something we really push. And then, of course, we're going to do fun things. We talked about doing something of a Shark Tank and like a big idea. That's kind of what Aberdeen does. And I think it would be so cool to have some high schoolers. Well, I mean, there were some high schoolers that participated in the last one, and they got like 3rd place in Watertown.
Wow.
And so I'd love to talk to them at some point, because I think they were trying to start a restaurant. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I think that again too, is there's so many people that might have a idea or the idea, and maybe they're just too afraid to, throw it out, or I could never do it. But if you
or
get
where do it
support,
go?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the bigger things when I talk to people. They're like, well, I just didn't know what to do or where to go or like what the next step is. So just kind of laying it out and getting that out there. And then we can do fun things like this and really kind of support people. And I don't know about you, but I would love to watch a Shark Tank rendition.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. You get some of the right people in the judge spots, and oh my gosh, that could be just a good time.
I think so. Yeah. Nice little presentation set up and watch people give those. And then, yeah, that would be cool. You could have that all set up. I'm sure we could figure that out.
I know.
Sure.
I think we could come up with something. So
yeah,
there's a lot of different things we're going to be working on. And yeah, we're trying to have a goal of, by the end of the year, having everything in place and ready to go. But the thing that we want people to know is we're going now. We don't have our 501c4 status yet, but we're still helping, and we want to be able to help people, because we don't want to, just because we don't have a website, we don't want that to stop someone from achieving their dreams or reaching out. So
yeah, it's sometimes that might just be what you need, is a little bit of guidance, per se, to kind of get you in the right way. And maybe that's all you needed.
Yeah. And we're going to be looking for, I'm working on putting together a board of strategic business advisors. So we're going to be looking for people, business owners that are, successful, who have been operating, who have been through the ringer, who have had the challenges, the opportunities, that would be willing to sit on this board. And essentially, if we have a business with an issue, and say maybe it's related to, say we have a restaurant owner And someone comes in, they want to start a restaurant. They're just really struggling with food costs or something like that. Well, I can connect them and almost create kind of a mentorship so that, if they keep having questions, they have that connection. They networked, they found that person that they can kind of rely on and reach out to. Because I think that's another piece is not everyone has all those connections. And they don't know who do I reach out to? How do I get advice on this specific topic? When I started a business, I didn't have connections and I didn't have money. And those are probably the most helpful things to have, if I'm being honest. So if I would have had either of those things, it would have probably been much easier. But knowing that a lot of people don't have that, that's kind of what we're also trying to create to some sort of a mentorship or, someone that has the capacity to answer a few questions here and there. Whether it's, someone in accounting or, someone who's looking to start a manufacturing business, and just have people that are just professionals in their field all on these boards and then be accessible to those who need it. So that'd be awesome. It'd almost be like having a sponsor, but for building your business. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. You're helping other businesses. You're getting your name out there just by being a part of it. And then you're supporting your community. So
yeah, absolutely. So they can reach out now if they do have any questions or maybe a great idea or wild idea, even any idea. Yeah. Yep. So just go StartUp Watertown on Facebook. Yeah, most definitely. You can't, more than likely, you probably won't.
Make sure you think about it a little bit before you just I'm going to do this.
Yes.
Okay, do some research, but
don't quit your job and think on Monday, we're going to start selling these and we're out of here.
Yep. We're full bore ahead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Pump the brakes a little sometimes. And it's good to have that kind of one-on-one too, if you need it, because not everyone is not into, but is comfortable in like a network situation, even though they want to be a business owner and that in the community, it's like you almost have to help them out of the shell. The shell a little bit. And once they come out of that, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. It's like a confidence builder maybe. So I think those are helpful.
Well, and we're, kind of back to the networking and the self-help piece. I haven't thought of a better name for this yet, but we almost want to do like a business kind of self-help group and different cohorts where, once a month or once every couple weeks, we get these business owners, whoever wants to participate together. And maybe it's in a specific industry, or maybe it's just woman-owned businesses, or maybe it's minority-owned businesses, something along those lines where we get people together and I kind of facilitate the conversation and we start talking about some of the issues that we've had in business, some things we're looking for advice on, and then just create the back and forth conversation. I learn so much when I go to conferences and I'm just talking to people. The content is great, the speakers are great, but I learn the most when I'm just collaborating with people and learning more about their situation and they're learning about mine and giving back, advice back and forth. I think that's really valuable. And it's so, it costs nothing. It's just coming together and maybe I have a couple issues I need to try to resolve and I'm just looking for feedback. So we're going to be doing some of those too, because I think those are just really valuable and they're so low key. And then everyone would just kind of sign NDAs and then it doesn't leave there. It all stays on the hill and then we're good to go. So hopefully we can get their, questions answered in a low key, non-stressful way. And then maybe they're building those relationships while they're there and they're networking and they don't even know it. So
yeah, that would be great. Sometimes it's nice to know that someone who you see as successful and, whatever that means, and to know that they may have struggled a little bit in the beginning, or, I don't know if it's the misery loves company, but sometimes it's just nice to know, like, oh, you struggled before you got wealthy and
before
successful.
You made it. Yeah, before you made it. Well, and the struggles are real in owning a business. There's definitely time commitments. If you have a family, that's another kind of commitment you have to juggle. And it's not always like roses and everything. There are some times where it's like, shoot, should I be doing this anymore? Like, can I keep doing this? Can I keep going? And that's just something you have to kind of consider along the way is how badly do you want it? Is it worth it? Can I make it work?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
and then you start. Oh.
Yep. And then you start up and then you're like, well, I'm in it now. So
yep.
no going out. But yeah, it's definitely rewarding starting a business. It is a lot of work. I don't know any business owners that would tell me it's not. There might be some out there where it's not a lot of work. Maybe if I was like a credit card processor, but
you're kind of buying turnkeys and just, handing them money and collecting revenue. Those might be a little easier than a locally owned, one-stop shop thing or whatnot. So, and that's kind of what you mentioned, whether you're looking at being a manufacturer. I mean, you'll take anyone. But it kind of seems like, too, the fostering is a big part of the organization, fostering that, whether it's youth or it's just that individual that has that little spark, and making a big deal.
Well, and I think just getting them thinking about it early on, and those who are going to LATC, you could start a business. You could start your salon. You could start your welding company. You could do it right here in Watertown. We need welders, period. There's so many different things that you could do, and you could just make it your own. For me, I just got to the point where I was tired of working for not so great bosses. And sometimes you get to that point too, and you're just thinking like, well, maybe it's better on the other side. Maybe if I start my own business, then the only person I have to complain to is myself, That's how I thought of it. I'm like, well, if I'm doing a crappy job, then okay, I'll just complain to myself about it, I guess. But
yeah. And you get the positives and the negatives. So at least as the owner, the positives are yours to also claim. Yeah.
You get all the wins, you get all the losses. It's like a roller coaster most of the time, but I think the employees are probably like the most rewarding piece of it. To see someone kind of start out and wow, they're picking this up really fast, and then just like move up the ranks in management you're kind of a part of that. And you can make them even greater if that's what you want to do. But it's really rewarding to see, an employee grow within the organization. So
yeah, absolutely.
The people piece is a big thing. So
I think you can tell, even just being one member of the group, that you have passion for what you do and for trying to help people get started and get a fostering environment, I think is a big deal alone. So I think people can appreciate the fact that there are a lot of people that are really actually rooting for you in a sense. Out
we
there.
Want to be your cheerleaders. We want to bring in the chamber. We want to bring in all of these organizations and collaborate with them. And we want everyone to turn out to your ribbon cutting. We want you to be successful. And we want to fill all these storefronts in town. So
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I hear all the time, working with other businesses and doing interviews, the amount of people that come here and visit, and, we do take for granted because we're here every day. They're like, wow, this town is beautiful. Or I didn't know you had this, or I can't believe you've got this over here. And, they see it from a whole different, different eyes. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to hear that and remind yourself that, oh yeah, from the outside look, this community is, people really love it. So you should too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else you think that we should cover? Man, that was some good stuff you have there.
Yeah. There's a lot of other things we have in the pipeline, but they might be a little bit further down the road once we've kind of gotten some of the programming going and whatnot. One of the things we are looking at is doing a revolving loan fund or some gap financing pieces in there because we are, painfully aware that not a lot of people have, say, the amount that they would need for a down payment on a loan, or, maybe they just had some really bad credit or, so there are some things that we're looking into from the financial side of things, knowing that, well, I didn't have money when I started. So, where does that money come from, or how do we make it so that once they get to the final piece, funding isn't the one thing that's standing in their way. They've made it this far, they're determined, they're ready to go. We just can't let that piece kind of stop us. So we are kind of working on the financing side of things. Once we get the actual programming up and running, we're going to be diving a little deeper into that and what we can do to kind of accelerate that and help with some of those more common technical issues. So
yeah, you definitely want to do it right, because you don't want to invest in businesses you want to invest in the right person with the right business.
Yeah, because you're not investing in the business, you're investing in the person. And the bankers will tell you that too. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. Yep, I'm learning that it's and you don't always get to prove yourself right away. So once you just got to keep digging and digging sometimes to get that traction going. So don't give up and reach out if you need a little help.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people in town, I think, that are willing to help with business related causes because they've started a business and they're successful. And so we just need to find those people who are willing to take a chance on a business if they think it's a great idea, and maybe they'll just do an ownership deal. That's not impossible. I think these deals happen all the time in this town. We just don't hear about them. So how do we kind of create that network that is just ready and whenever we are, and we just do a pitch and see what they think, and maybe it works out where they're like, yeah, let's go, let's run with it,
Yeah.
So I do think things like that exist. We just kind of have to put the pieces together. So
yeah, maybe you can find the right partner where you're not this part of the business necessarily. That's not your forte, but you can do all this work or service or whatever it is. And if you had the right partner, it would be way more effective for you in the long run anyway. So,
and that's common. My business partner is very much opposite of me. I'm very OCD and I plan everything. She's go with the flow, but she's been in the restaurant industry for years. And so she knows all the, ins and outs and ups and downs. And so we just work really well together, but we found that yin and yang that you need. So I think that's a pretty common thing where, someone's really good at something, but this is also a really important facet of your business. So how do I make sure I find the right person to cover this piece of it? So
yeah, building your right team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right people in the right seats.
Yeah. Beautiful. Perfect. Gosh, did you cover everything that you brought today?
I think so. Yeah.
So I was thinking that's a pretty good way to
I could talk about this all day, but yeah.
I could probably too. But I thought, man, that's a good way to kind of end it with it wrapped right up just to the people. And that's really what community, I think, is about, whether it's charity or, starting a business or working for the city or whatever, any of that stuff. It's all the people is really what makes a difference.
Investing in people, because I couldn't have started a business by myself. I didn't start a business by myself. And if we can find those people that want to be a part of it, we can make anything happen. So
absolutely. So for now, you can go to Facebook and search StartUp Watertown. You've got a lot of good posts on there. There's even classes you're sharing and other like what was the one I just saw with the leadership and profit with purpose speaker lineup, the East Women's Business Center, like you got that shared and that stuff. So
and we try to share, there's actually a lot of free courses online through SCORE, SBA, and others. So we try to share those as we see them. And then even, like you said, the SDCEO things, those are women in business related. They do a ton of events, and eventually we're going to try to get them here to do some events with us as well. But yeah, we try to share as much as possible to get the word out. And I was actually just reading today that the Governor's Office of Economic Development just released a grant that's AI related for workforce. So say you're, training your employees how to use AI. There's a grant for that through the state now.
Wow.
And so, look it up on the Governor's Office of Economic Development. If you're trying to transition your team to using more AI, or, maybe you're a manufacturer and you're going to start integrating AI in your processes, there's grants out there. They just became available. So we try to keep businesses up to date on any of those kind of related things that maybe they could take advantage of as well. So,
wow, geez. So there's actually, seems like there can be a lot of tools out there for people to utilize if they really take their time, dig into it, do those baby steps. You might be able to put together a nice little package for yourself and get started.
Yep, absolutely.
Very cool. Okay. So StartUp Watertown on Facebook, check it out a little bit. I mean, see what we're talking about. And then if you got that spark, reach out.
Yep. We're on LinkedIn too.
So, LinkedIn. Okay. Yep. And then soon in the fall, we'll have a website.
Yeah.
And then
we might even have a new logo, and we'll have new branding and stuff. So it might look a little bit different, but I'm excited to see what they come up with. So
awesome. Very cool. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. And I'm sure we'll get updates as things kind of pop up too. So anything else you need before we wrap up?
No, we're good to go.
Very good. All right. Well, we'll get back to some music. Angie Yahne, thanks for everything that you do, because I know you do run businesses and you're working at the development company and StartUp Watertown. And, you know, it's a lot of stuff, but you do it obviously because you care. Appreciate that. So,
yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, we'll get back to some music here on Northeast Radio SD.
Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. That'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna